Hey fam, thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome back to Tari's Lifestyle and Vlog. So today's video we're going to be talking about something a little bit more personal to me. We're going to be talking about the process my spouse and I went through to get his UK spouse visa approved. And this video was requested by one of my subscribers, Chaima Medri. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. So she left a comment for me asking me this question, and I promised I was going to do this video. So yeah, you have it. Okay, so but before I go on, if this is your first time of coming to my channel and you like videos like this, then please subscribe, turn on your bell icon so you don't miss out on any of my videos going forward. So I've done a few videos on the UK spouse visa application, the process, the requirements, what you need to do, the documents you need to have, and also what you need to do, what you can do if your visa is refused, the appeal process and how long it takes and all of that. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put the link up here so you can have a look at the videos yourself and leave a comment, leave a question, whatever your thoughts are, just leave them in the comment section for me and I'll be happy to read through. And if you have any specific video as well, like I said, like I always say, I'll be happy to do those videos for you as well. Okay, so this video, like I said, is a personal experience for me. So I came to the UK long before my spouse. I got my settlement not so long ago, and mine was through the 10-year route. So I'd been in the UK for 10 years, and then I applied for my UK indefinite leave to remain. And because I had always had a legal right to stay in the UK, I was able to travel to see him and come back, and we could travel to see each other. But due to the lockdown, it was so difficult for us. All we had was communication through telephone, through WhatsApp and all of that, video calls, and it was really hard for us to stay apart for such a long time. So we decided that it was time for him to come and join me in the UK, and of course at that time I got my settlement as well, so it was actually the right time for us to do it. Okay, so I've done videos, like I said, on the requirements. So you want to make sure that you fulfill the requirements of applying for a UK spouse visa. If you want to apply for it, it's an expensive application to do, so you don't want to be wasting money, because if you're not qualified for it, you pay that much money to do the visa, and you get refused, your money will not be refused. So you want to make sure that you meet the requirements, you meet the criteria, you have all the documents required before you can make the application. Okay, so for us, we had all the documents. So I always say that if you want to do an application like this and you don't know, if you're not sure, then what you want to do is contact and speak to a solicitor or to a professional. For me, all my applications I've done, I've always used a solicitor, one solicitor. She's become my friend through the years, through my application renewals and all of that. So she's been with me through all the process. So when it came to my spouse visa as well, I got her involved, and she said, okay, you need this, you need this, you need it. The good thing about using a solicitor, some people might think, oh, they can do it by themselves, which is completely fine. Okay, it's completely fine if you can do it for yourself, but me, I feel like it gives it an additional strength when they see that, okay, there's a letter from a solicitor that's representing you on your application. That's my personal opinion. Yours might be different. Okay, so I spoke with my solicitor and said, okay, it's time for us to do this. She gave her advice and told us, okay, this is what you need, this is what you need. So the documents we provided, so we had to prove the status of our relationship, and what we needed for that was a marriage certificate. We need a proof of our communication. So what we used for that was WhatsApp messages, conversations and all of that. We provided all of that. We needed proof of I think my financial status in the UK, and in my previous video I said the minimum requirement financial threshold is 18,600. Thankfully my annual earnings is more than that, so that covered that. I needed my pay slips for 6 months, which I provided. I needed my bank statement for 6 months, which I also provided and submitted the documents. So everything that was required for my husband, what they required for him, he needed is an English language, proof of English language test. So he had to do an IELTS test. Okay, so he did an IELTS test. If you can also use, if you have a degree, you can use your degree certificate to prove your English language ability, but we decided that he would do the test. So he did the test and he passed it. You need to have a certain requirement, like a certain pass mark for the visa. I'm not sure, I think it was a 5 out of 8 or a 3 out of 5, I can't remember now, but I could do a video about that, that's no problem. But he needed to pass that, which he did, thankfully. And then he also needed to do a tuberculosis test, because if you're going to be coming to the UK for more than 6 months, you need to do a tuberculosis test. So he did that and his was clear, so he was able to apply for his visa. We also needed a proof of my accommodation, so tenancy agreement, or if you have a mortgage, you can put your mortgage statement in there, but for us it was a tenancy agreement that we had to provide. Okay, so you need to make sure that you have all those documents. If you do have all the documents that are required, it will kind of speed up the process for you. But if any of these documents is not included, is missing, then it could delay the process, or it could even lead to your spouse visa being refused altogether. For the application itself, we had to pay £1,538 because he was applying, he's coming from Nigeria, so that's the cost. But if you are applying from the UK, I think it's about £1,080 or thereabouts. But because he was coming from Africa and from Nigeria, we had to pay £1,538 for his visa. We also had to pay the NHS surcharge. NHS surcharge for 1 year is now it's gone up to £628. Okay, so because the visa is like a 2-year and 8 months visa, we had to pay for 3 years, which took us to the amount of £1,920 or thereabouts. So you can see 1,900, 1,500, that's over 3,000 we had to pay for the application itself. So we're going to go, we had a discussion whether we wanted to go through the priority or super priority, or just go through the normal process. Okay, but we decided to go through the normal process itself. The normal process takes about 12 weeks. Okay, so if your application is straightforward, it takes about 12 weeks. And for us, when it got to the 10th week, and they would usually reply you or attend to you within that 12 weeks, unless there's something else going on with your application. Maybe something is not clear, or maybe some documents need to be verified. Okay, so what we did, we put in the application, and within 12 weeks, I think it was the 10th week, we heard from the Home Office asking for more documentation. And that actually broke my heart, because I felt that we had everything in place. That broke my heart because I knew that it wasn't going to be within the 12 weeks that was initially expected. So we went on, we provided the documentation they wanted, and then we had to start waiting. And at this point, we didn't know how long it was going to take. That was the most frustrating part of it, because it was now past the 12 weeks. And like I said, a UK application, a spouse visa application normally takes 12 weeks. So this is now past 12 weeks. We weren't sure how long it was going to take anymore, so, and they said if it's not straightforward, it could take up to 6 months. And I didn't want it to take 6 months, because we've been separated for such a long time, almost 2 years or thereabouts. And it was so frustrating. I couldn't travel due to some issues going on with me, and he couldn't travel as well for some other reasons. So it was so frustrating. We had to now start waiting. But what we did in the meantime, so I got in touch with my lawyer, my solicitor, to say, okay, you know what, we've been waiting for more than 12 weeks now, what can we do? So she wrote to them to say, okay, we've said this, we've said that, can you give us a response? And they didn't reply. So after a couple of weeks again, we wrote another email to them to say, okay, we've written one email, can you now reply? They still didn't reply. So we had to write a letter called a pre-action protocol. So this is like telling them that if they don't reply, that we're going to take them to court. They either give us a decision or tell us the next step, because this was like already 4 months into the process. So it was supposed to be 12 weeks, but this is now like maybe 18 weeks or 16 weeks. We don't know if we're coming or if we're going. So it was really difficult. So we wrote the pre-action protocol to them, and then they said they replied within, I think the pre-action protocol, they were going to reply within 10 days. Okay, so they replied to my solicitor to say, okay, you know what, this is the situation, we're going to expedite this thing so that you can get a response quickly. So after that, I think it was 2 weeks later, we got a response to say, okay, my husband's spouse visa has been approved. So in all, it took us about 5 months. Okay, so instead of 3 months, it took us about 5 months. But I was glad that it didn't take up to 6 months, but that was how long it took to get the visa. Like I said, it's always better to get everything right. So if all your documents are right, you have everything intact, then it's simple and straightforward. But if you don't, then it could take a long time. Okay, and like I said, we also discussed whether I would go through the priority or super priority, because I know that was what Shimmer asked, if we went through the straightforward. So we did go through the normal route, but if you want to go through the priority route, you would have to pay an additional £500 to get a response within 5 days. And there's also a super priority where you can get a response the next working day, which is a super priority. You have to pay an extra £800. Okay, the reason we decided not to go through the priority route was because we knew that my husband had been refused a visa before. And if your application is not straightforward and you're asking them to respond within 5 days, we're scared that, okay, what if they refuse and all of that? So we thought about it, we discussed it, spoke with my solicitor about it, and we said, you know what, we would go through the normal route. So that was a process. It was a difficult process for me especially, and for him as well, of course, but it was worth waiting for, and eventually we got it approved. I must say at this point that your waiting time after you've submitted your application does not start immediately you submit your application. Your waiting time starts when you go for your biometric, because once you've submitted your application, you get the opportunity to choose a date for your biometric. So once you've done that, that's when your processing time starts. Okay, but this is a process we went through. Okay, and this is a video, like I said, that was requested by one of you, Shimra. But thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you have any other video suggestions you'd like me to do, please leave them in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to talk about them as much as I can. I hope this video is helpful. If it has helped you, give it a thumbs up, share with your friends and family, and of course subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.